And that's us. Whoop. Hey there. It's always amazing to speak to a room full of scientists. To me. Well, you might look around and are like, what? What? You're not scientists, but you are. Look in your pockets. Every one of you has a smartphone that you use in your everyday lives to record and to produce content. And just imagine if you would use just a fraction of that time to record something that's actually of value, not only to you, but to everyone around you. Environmental data is the solution to offset our climate crisis. And the Sea Foundation, a company registered in Scotland, makes sure that on the Argon blockchain we are able to produce tools for people from 2 different spectrums. This is our amazing team. We are people from a global community of people that are very, very deeply involved in ocean conservation, ocean science, environmentalism, but also with the right tech background to produce and deliver what we promise. As you heard in the video, we are partnered to some of the biggest ocean conservation organizations, and we aim to produce the right image to those and the right approach to blockchain and the inclusion of blockchain in our environmental crisis. The problem that we are facing, of course, is a problem that is everywhere. And you probably are sick of it, but it exists. It's there. Our climate crisis is a topic that we have to address from multiple angles. And if you talk about climate crisis, we talk about feedback loops. Feedback loops, you might have heard of that, are, for example, things that happen through human intervention in natural proceedings. One of those is, for example, the ice melt, which releases methane gas. Methane gas then heats the Earth further, which then in exchange creates more ice melt. We are building the Sea Nexus, the biggest environmental data gatherer and distributor the world has ever seen. And we do that by providing access to everyone with a smartphone to contribute data. But not only from the citizen science aspect. I don't know if you ever heard citizen science, but like I said in the beginning, every one of you has a smartphone. And every smartphone has internal recording devices that can monitor our nature, our environment. And this is valuable data that shall not get unused. We are not only getting the data from citizen scientists, we're getting it from authoritative data sources, like you've seen, our partners, like Sea Shepherd UK, Five Gyres, Paddy Aware, again, some of the biggest organizations, globally collecting data that can help us understand, that can help us build models, and that can help us to offset, especially the devastating effects that we will experience in the next 10 years. But what kind of data, you might think? Like data, it's a general term. What is environmental data? Environmental data can be oceanographic data, it can be phosphor, it can be anything that you find and analyze in a laboratory. Environmental data, again, can be optical data, like a photo of an animal. I've worked on an island in the Maldives where we identified turtles by photographing their faces. Like, what is so interesting in that? But the scales and the arrangement of the scales of the turtles are unique to each turtle, from the left to the right side. It's a unique fingerprint, like our fingerprint. And we can document that. Everyone can document that with their phones. Then probably everyone now has an underwater case, GoPros, and whatever. So, optical data can help us understand populations of animals. Then, further data is coastal erosion data, for example. We are expanding at an even faster rate. We are in Dubai, and Dubai is expanding faster and faster and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. What is happening to the soil that we are standing on? What do you think happens when we build higher and higher, heavier and heavier buildings on that? It erodes. We are creating homes in escrow that we cannot by any means hold up. So, the data that we collect from the two sides, from authoritative data sources, like the organizations, and the citizen science side, we also license out to the environmental monitoring data market, which will grow to around 30 billion in the next 5 years. And then, of course, because the climate crisis is emerging, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, will grow. And thus, the data will become more and more valuable. We collect the data through getting them into data classes. And these data classes can get subscribed to. The environmental data market consists of agriculture. It consists of construction. It consists of insurance. It consists of things that we need in our everyday lives to make sense and prepare us for the next step of our future and the future of our children. Wait, we can just jump there and here. And again, you heard the big thing. A lot of you people probably frowned upon that reward token. We're sick of reward tokens. Let's face it, everyone is sick of reward tokens. They're useless. Reward tokens have the fallacy of having a constant downwards pressure on the price. It's ridiculous. Why do you need that? It is not a sound investment. But we solved that. We solved the reward token fallacy. Well, that's a bit small, but luckily I can explain it to you. So, again, a reward token gets issued for something. When you contribute data, the data goes through AI filtering, machine learning, and through a special consensus method. The consensus method allows everyone that gets an account and that uses his smartphone and our apps and the apps to have, by the inception of this account, 3 points. With each point, there is a possibility of uploading data. And then the data has to go through data cleaning, has to go through our consensus method, which penalizes if the data is bad. So the point gets taken away. And if the data uploads are all bad, 3 points are gone and your account is rendered useless. And your phone is also rendered useless because we pack the metadata of your phone to the account. We want clean data sets. We need clean data sets. Standardized data everywhere in the world is an issue anyway. So we need to provide solutions to get the closest possible, and to get in the closest possible way to the best possible data sets for people to contribute the data. No, we're going to stay there for a second. So, how do we solve the reward token issue? Again, reward token get issued for doing something. Like you can walk, you get reward token. Downwards pressure on the price. What we do again, we sell our data licenses. And with 40% of the data licenses, we do a buyback of our token. Of these 40%, we are funding emerging climate projects in the world. Also, we redistribute of these 40% to those people that contributed to the licensed out data class. But what else is there? Like, we are able to, if we do that, we are able to counter, we are able to offset market volatility. We have more control of our token price. But there needs to be more. Utility can't be just that. Utility needs to be an ecosystem. And we are building an ecosystem, a Web3 ecosystem, for our actual ecosystem. So, we are also doing something that's quite revolutionary and it's never been done before. Together with some of the biggest MPA creation organizations, you might say, MPA, what is that? Normally I talk to scientists, data scientists, whatever, and I don't have to explain environmental terms and whatever. The other way around is I have to explain all the blockchain terms. So it's nice to have a crowd like this, where I just have to explain this stuff. So MPAs are marine protected areas. If you're divers, if you've been snorkeling, if you've been in the water, out there, a few miles off coast here, you can go diving. This might be in a marine protected area, where only ecotourism can go, where only people with the proper education of diving or whatever can go. And MPAs are vital for our environment, vital for us to maintain the ecosystem of the oceans. What we do is, we offer NFTs. These NFTs can be exchanged for the data points that you collect for uploading the data. When the data goes through and ends up on our CNexus, on the Algorand blockchain, you get rewarded and you get given back your data points and get additional data points, which you can exchange for VC, or you can exchange them for the NFTs. The NFTs will allow you governments in MPAs. So, for the first time, people from all over the world have the chance to become conservationists and are able to contribute to the well-being of a small portion of the world and make sure that this small safe haven is protected. You have a government's vote. You are able to actually produce something of value whilst receiving value in return. The NFTs are done in collaboration with some really big artists. We cannot announce that yet, but we will announce in due time, and you will like that. Conservationists, ocean photographers, filmmakers, people that you followed your whole lives, and people that shaped your perception of the world. And of course, as we are shaping the perception of blockchain with that, and shaping essentially where we are going with blockchain right now, as we are all part of a tribe. And this is how we are doing it. Everyone that gets NFTs, and depending on the contribution to the NFTs, is becoming part of one tribe. The Guardian tribe, this is the only one I'm going to explain to you right now, so I don't overstretch my time limit, is the one that governs over the MPAs. This will give you a chance to not only become part of a general movement. If you've never been in contact with the oceans yourself and are landlocked and probably will never see the oceans, a lot of people have never seen the oceans, this is a way for you to participate. And of course, there is the normal NFT procedure with randomization and such on top of that. We are not only gathering data, but we are producing data. We've created the first natural science PhD, completely funded by a crypto project, together with the Stellenbosch University. It is a groundbreaking PhD concerning eDNA, environmental DNA, which is quite awesome, is as young as blockchain. eDNA, did I just, no? Okay. Want to hear some music? eDNA, environmental DNA, is some of the most science fiction thing you'll ever hear. It is residual fragmented DNA rests of animals or whatever being was at a certain time in the water. We could collect water out there, we could do PCR tests, and we could figure out what animal has been there. So these are proper new data sets, just emerged, they just came out, and we'll be the first one to get them on blockchain. So now you might think, but why do you need blockchain? What does blockchain do for scientific data? We heard about the trilemma already. There is a trilemma for scientific data as well that we solve. Since the inception of the modern sciences, what is an issue? People that contribute to science are not getting proper credit. Women have been overlooked for so long for their contribution in science. With just the inherent technology that we provide, people that contribute to science will forever, immutably be stored on the blockchain, and their names will henceforth be forever recorded in our endeavor to offset climate change. Another thing is, because the data is generational, we are able to reproduce results over periods of time. A huge issue. I just talked with some major scientists from, I'm not going to tease there, from Blue Parks, and there was an issue that they were facing. The issue was that a friend of theirs wanted to receive some data they collected for their PhD 30 years ago. All on paper still, and he couldn't find it. The data was gone. Necessary data for our all well-being, necessary data that could shape our future, just vanished. Never be found again. Also, if you redo the science, if you redo the research, but more likely gone. So, we are immediately changing that by putting blockchain in between. You are able to reproduce results over generations and generations and generations, making sense of the feedback loops that I introduced to you in the beginning. And with that possibility, we are able to not only create a communal approach to data collection, but also an inclusion of institutional data collection and, well, citizen science-generated data. We are having our seed round right now. And we are having a pre-seed round of $400,000 right now with a follow-up $1.2 million seed round. And now I just want to tell you a little anecdotal thing that's very important to me. If you look out there, there's the ocean. I love the ocean. I've been surrounded by the ocean my whole life. I want to protect it, I want to preserve it. So, everyone here that has a connection to the ocean has been faced with the issue. Probably, when you talk to people, blockchain is bad for the environment. When you've met people that are frowning upon blockchain, that are frowning upon the amazing technological revolution that we have at our hands, people are looking at what's happening, at what happened with Terra. Coincidentally, our world is facing the same fate. Celsius, like the name suggests, burns the liquidity of their investors. And, well, the world is quite much heating up. On top of that, everyone here, if I just mention the word FTX, I think I will rekindle a few conversations you were having the whole week. But that said, what is the perception of blockchain that we have right now? Where are we going right now? What we need to support are the use cases, the solutions that will bring forth mainstream adoption, mainstream collaboration even more so. We need to become more agnostic. We need to actually create bridges and not just temporarily floating logs that disperse just if you stand on top of them. So, if you are interested in actually contributing to the well-being not only of the ecosystem around you, but the Web3 ecosystem, then make sure that you are becoming a proponent of supporting the green protocols that are out there. If you want to get us a better image, that's the only thing you can do. It will get tougher in the next few years. It will get tougher in the next few months. But like Nelson Mandela said, dare not linger. And we need to be prepared, we need to keep on moving, and we need to develop. And that's it.